Last week, you pretty much needed Calvin Ridley in your lineup if you wanted to win big in GPPs. Let's see if we can find this week's Calvin Ridley. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching The Couch. These are my NFL DFS picks for week 4. The site we're using is cryptofantasysports.com. It has the exact same player salaries as DraftKings. So if a player is $5,000 on DraftKings, they're going to be $5,000 on CFS. We're having another giveaway this week. I'll announce last week's giveaway winner towards the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned and watch the whole video. For this week, I am going to be giving away 5 items instead of a jersey. Please don't hate me. I thought we change it up a little bit, it'll be even more fun. So guys, I'll pick 5 winners this week. Go to Fantasy Couch store, and if you win, you're gonna pick any item that's $20 or less, so you can get a signed book, you can get a ring, or probably my favorite would be a t-shirt like the Waivers and Chill, or a commish t-shirt, or a mug, whatever you guys want. I just want to give more opportunities for more people to win this week. So all you got to do to enter is sign up if you haven't signed up at cryptofantasysports.com, or just follow the link below in the description and play in any contest this week, and comment below your username on CFS. I will pick 5 random winners. So good luck on the giveaway and good luck this week on DFS. Let's go to the picks. For quarterbacks, sure, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are good, but the best quarterback this week is hands down Drew Brees. He has a very high floor and a very high ceiling. That means he's safe, and he's also just really good. I just don't see how you rank anybody else not quarterback 1 this week as far as projections go, other than Brees. It should be a shootout. The Saints defense suffered another injury. They lost their slot cornerback, and their defense is now even worse, and Drew Brees is just on fire. The Saints offense is performing at a high level. You got to go Drew Brees in a cash game. I think if you have the money to spend up, and I think you got to make money to spend up, and just get Brees, we'll call it a day. Now, if you want to be a little more contrarian, I have Eli Manning. I'm trying to keep this video a little bit shorter, guys. The last one ran a little longer. So Eli Manning playing in the same game. This should be a shootout, and nobody's going to pick Eli Manning because he hasn't performed well in the last 2 years. He hasn't even had a good game. And I think this is the game, man. He's got Saquon Barkley to throw to. He's got Odell Beckham to throw to, and Sterling Shepard. All 3 of those guys are awesome. And man, I like it. The price is about right. It's not extremely expensive. It's definitely not cheap. I don't see a lot of people owning him just because they're like, oh, Eli Manning, he sucks. His offensive line sucks. He hasn't played well. That means he's going to be contrarian. At least it indicates that he'll likely be contrarian. And there are a lot of other options, but nobody really stands out to me. The other quarterback I wanted to just mention, I always try to go with some cheap options for you guys, is CJ Beathard. I don't have a lot of faith in him, okay? But as far as him being 4,600, he's the absolute cheapest quarterback. You would even possibly, the slightest bit, even consider putting in your lineup this week. And I just think he's probably, I'll just put it like this, I doubt he'll be the 32nd quarterback. So I doubt he'll be the worst quarterback this week. And for that price, you may be able to get some really good value. And if you hit on your other picks, 4,600 is super cheap. Not a guy I'm likely going to be picking in a lot of lineups, if any at all. But I like to give you guys cheap options. CJ Beathard, 49ers quarterback, 4,600 going against the Chargers, who's supposed to have a good defense, but they don't really have one. By the way, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's out for the season. Running backs. Well, can we be more obvious? Alvin Kamara, number 1 running back. He can catch, he can run. Ingram suspended. Find a way to pick this guy. 9,600 though, it's super expensive. As you can see, 1,300 more expensive than the second most expensive running back. I like Saquon Barkley. I don't know. He might be a little bit contrarian because he's pretty expensive, but this could be the game where he absolutely goes off. 100 scrimmage yards first 3 games, and I just don't see him getting under 100 yards this game against the Saints. Just no way that happens, so I like him. 8,100. Moving on to some cheaper options. Oh, hello. You again. You have disappointed me so many times, Tevin Coleman. But I'm back to you again at 5,900. I actually like him even more this week because he was so disappointing and now people hate him. I don't think anybody's going to pick Tevin Coleman again. I am, because I'm stubborn that way, and for 5,900, that's going to be value. That's just how I see it. I see this as a great value pick. 5,900, good matchup against the Bengals. Enough said. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Matt Breida is playing in the later games on Sunday, the second wave of games, and he has a game time decision. I guess if I had to guess, I'd say he's gonna play, but he's kind of too risky. So if you're able to swap him out, then maybe you pick him. There are some players that you can replace him with. If you do decide to go with him, I see a lot of dump offs to Breida. Just make sure you have the ability to swap him out, and you're gonna swap him out. Set your alarm or something, whatever, 90 minutes before the second wave of games kicks off, so that you don't leave him in and he gets you a 0. That would be very disappointing, especially if your lineup is on fire and then you have Breida, who's a last minute scratch. Who else we got? Who else? Oh, I really wanted to talk about Drake, who's been a huge bust as of late, has done just about nothing. I see this being a great bounce back opportunity for Kenyon Drake. And because there are so many other options that are cheaper, I think Kenyon Drake won't be owned in a lot of contests. Now, this should probably be a GPP play. There is risk because he's been not good performance-wise. The Dolphins have been good, but Kenyon Drake's individual stats have been disappointing, and Gore has been getting about 9 carries a game, so Kenyon Drake hasn't got that full workload. I think he'll do good. With the Patriots defense, it's really pick your poison for them. That's their strategy. So they either have to focus on stopping the run, focus on stopping one receiver, or put 2 safeties back there and focus on stopping the deep pass. So they really can't, they just don't have the ability to stop everything. They really don't have the ability to stop 2 things, the Patriots defense. So last week, they tried to stop the pass against Stafford. They tried to stop those 3 wide receivers, Tate, Golladay, and Marv Jones. And the run game worked it worked so crazily. Like Blunt and Carrion were just having these huge, massive holes to run through. So let's see what they do against Kenyon Drake. Another plus about Kenyon Drake is that he can catch. So he doesn't necessarily have any weakness. He does everything quite well. Could be a bounce back game for Mr. Drake. 5,200, playing in New England. Lamar Miller, 5,000, solid rock. Could this be the game where he doesn't put up mediocre numbers? Look at this, 11 fantasy points, or let's just say 12 fantasy points, 9 fantasy points, 14 fantasy points. Maybe this is the game where he goes off and finally puts up 20 plus points. All I know is for 5,000, that's a value pick, a very good one. We have Lynch going against the Browns. We know you can run against the Browns. Don't really trust the Raiders, though, when it comes to anything. I don't trust the Raiders kicker. I don't trust Cooper. I don't trust the Raiders defense. I don't trust Carr. I don't trust any black and silver. I want to mention Chris Ivory. I believe LaShawn McCoy will play. He has a rib injury, but the small chance that he doesn't, Chris Ivory will be a good start. Really cheap. We saw last week he got the bulk of the carries. What was this? I think 20 carries last week, and he did a decent job. 15.6 fantasy points going against the Packers. He should be able to do the same thing, but only if LaShawn McCoy is out. Those are 2 East Coast teams, so they're probably playing in the early games. I don't know off the top of my head, but that's what logically makes sense to me. Oh, we got some really sexy picks here. The running back, sexy cheap picks. I like the cheap ones. Here we go. Sony Michel, 4,500. Burkhead is on IR. Jeremy Hill is done. Sony Michel's the man. Other than James White being a really good pass catching back, which is important, and especially in PPR, Sony Michel's going to get the bulk of the carries. The Patriots are heavily favored to win this game. They're at home. I don't think it's going to be that easy of a game for the Patriots, but still, I don't think the Dolphins are going to whoop on them like they did last year. I think Sony Michel will get a lot of run. Really good start for that cheap, 4,500, man. That's, I don't know, that's so cheap. It's basically mispriced. Another cheap option is Kerryon Johnson, 4,400. Not a lot of faith there. Now this one has a ton of upside. Austin Eckler is a high upside guy. He's a risky guy. He's that home run threat. And at only 4,200, man, is this scary. I was just looking at the top running backs. Can you believe Austin Eckler, I believe, is an RB1, meaning he's like a top 10, top 12 running back? It's crazy. He's been declining a little bit, 23 points. He's really dependent on that home run threat because he doesn't get a lot of touches. Melvin Gordon's there. But 23 points, 12 points, 8 points. I don't know, even 8 points isn't that bad for a backup. So 4,200, he should get his opportunities here, especially if Keenan Allen is far from 100% or he doesn't play. I expect Keenan Allen to play. I fully do, but there's a chance Keenan Allen doesn't play. So I see Austin Eckler getting more touches, especially in the pass game, getting more targets. How about some more risky picks? Aaron Jones, 4,100. Probably not the ideal cash game start. Probably not the pick you want as a safe guy. But Aaron Jones, 4,100. We all know he's the best running back on the Packers. The coach knows it. He's got burst. He's quicker. Ty Montgomery is he's been irrelevant. He's been irrelevant before when Aaron Jones was suspended. He's irrelevant now. I think he's going to take that starting role and he'll get a little bit more opportunities this game. And I have a gut feeling he's going to break out. So maybe he only touches the ball 17 times this game. That should be enough for him to do some things. At 4,100, the highest upside running back and super cheap. So several reasons to like him. The only bad part about it, there's not much safety there. There is 3 running backs, and it's a little bit of an unknown, but I like taking risks. Again, Marlon Mack is hurt, so just wanted to mention Jordan Wilkins, price 3,900. He'll start if Mack is out. Marlon Mack is questionable. Who else we got? Rashad Penny, great, cheap start. I absolutely love it. If Chris Carson is out, the starting running back, he is questionable. Chris Carson's questionable. Penny is going to play. If Chris Carson's active, though, you don't want to pick Penny. No way. And I'm going back again to Nyheim Hines. Look, guys, when Marlon Mack hasn't played, Marlon Mack's played 1 game. He hasn't played 2 games. So out of the 3 games, Nyheim Hines is averaging 6 receptions a game. So the first game, Mack was out 7 receptions. And then the third game, Mack was out 5 receptions. He can break off one of those for a long touchdown. So I absolutely love Nyheim Hines. Again, we're sticking to the same guys. I don't care. I'm going Coleman. I'm going Hines. I don't care. Only 3,800. That's super cheap. That's still value here, by the way, guys. That's still value. Now, you're taking a risk, but it's hard to find, players that are minimum price. So, hey, expect another 6 receptions if Mack is out, and maybe he breaks off one of those runs or passes and takes it to the house. If Marlon Mack's active, I'm probably not having Hines in any of my lineups. Don't want nothing to do with him there. Even I'm not that crazy. One more. Smallwood, where you at? 3,600. There you are. Wendell Smallwood. Only if Sproles and Clement are both out. I think one of them will play, so we're probably not going to pick this guy, but just wanted to mention that. Ajayi seems like he's going to play. He's expected to play. And if Sproles and Clement is out, Wendell Smallwood should be the second running back and backup Jay Ajayi. So I do like Smallwood if those 2 running backs are out. Moving on to wide receivers. Blah, 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 blah. Of course, Michael Thomas. Yes. He's great. He's awesome. High floor, high ceiling. He's Drew Brees' main guy. I think everybody knows that. Even if you don't watch any football, even if you don't know how football is played, you can just see that Michael Thomas is awesome and he's a good start. So let's talk about some wide receivers that are less obvious. Odell Beckham, I said he would have 17 or something fantasy points last week. He did pretty good. Finally, he did something. 109 yards and 9 receptions. I like that stat. No touchdowns. I think he's still not fully on people's radars. People are still kind of unsure of Odell and his person. Some people don't like his personality for some reason. So I think the ownership won't be extremely high. Now, it'll be high because people are looking, oh, this could be a shootout. But I still don't think it'll be that high. And I like Odell Beckham. You can stack him with Eli Manning. I'm just targeting the Saints and Giants game. I like it. I think there'll be scoring opportunities. Who else we got? Mike Evans is underpriced. 7,900 going against the Bears. Bears defense is really good. It's not like a game where I want to start the quarterback, whether it be Winston or probably Fitzmagic. I don't want to start the quarterback necessarily, but I might start one of the wide receivers or tight ends or something and take a risk because they could still do well. And Mike Evans, man, he's been a beast. Look at this, 30 points, 23 points, 29 points. He's been really good, slightly underpriced. Devontae Adams, same thing. Hasn't really blown up like a lot of people thought this year. But this is the game where he might do something. And the ownership's going to be very low. Price at $7,800. I think that's slightly underpriced. Another wide receiver that's underpriced is T.Y. Hilton. He does very well against the Texans usually. And he's going to do well this week. Why wouldn't he? And the price is only $7,000. That's pretty cheap. Will Fuller, I mean, he's just been awesome. He's priced at $6,800. I think the safest bet at... Ooh, he's questionable. Ooh, what is this? That's not good. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't play. But if Golden Tate's active, this is probably the safest bet. He's not a high upside guy, so not the best GPP play, but a decent play in cash games. He's priced $6,600, so that's a good price. It's not cheap. It's definitely not expensive, though. He'll have a good matchup going against the Cowboys slot receiver. He always plays in the slot. He'll be good, man. And the Cowboys run a slow offense, so this won't maybe not be a game where there's a lot of snaps, but still, that's why I like him as a high floor guy, a safe wide receiver. Price is not too expensive. Kind of more news here. Doug Baldwin is priced extremely cheap. If he was 100% healthy, I'd love him, but he's not. He is expected to play. However, I don't know if he'll be 100% or close to it. You know, teams don't like to reveal inside information like that. Larry Fitzgerald, yeah, he's sucked, but I think this price is really good for him. $5,000. He won't be owned in a lot of leagues too, so this is a great GPP play. Josh Rosen is playing, and not a big fan of Josh Rosen. Not a big fan of the Cardinals coach, their offense, their team, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Do you really think it could get worse than Sam Bradford? I think that's rock bottom. I don't think it can possibly get any worse than Sam Bradford. So we're going to apply a little bit more upside to Larry Fitzgerald. Hope he can do some things. Sterling Shepard, good matchup against the Saints. Saints are... They're going to have to pick their poison. So Marshawn Lattimore might shadow Odell Beckham. And if he doesn't need help, then that's good. Then I think if Marshawn Lattimore shadows Odell Beckham would go off. If he doesn't have any safety help. Now, if they double Odell Beckham, then they can shut him down or contain him at least. But then you're leaving guys like Sterling Shepard wide open and giving more opportunity to Saquon Barkley if you're not stacking the box. So it's really pick your poison. The Saints, they're not going to be able to defend all three guys. They're not going to be able to get to stop Odell, Shepard, and Saquon. That's just not going to happen. No way. All three of them can catch, by the way. Saquon Barkley has 20, 25, something crazy. He has a lot of receptions. He's very talented. If you didn't know that. Next up, super cheap option, $4,500, Mike Williams. What did I tell you guys? 11 touchdowns. Write it down. He's got how many? 3 touchdowns already. This guy has been a monster, man. And, you know, for a guy that's been drafted late in season-long leagues, and look, he's still only 4,500, has a good matchup against the Niners. For that price, you really can't beat it. And on top of that, there's a small chance Keenan Allen doesn't play, or he's playing at less than 100%. So that would boost Mike Williams' value just a little bit. Enunwa, a player that people will stay away from. That's why I like this sneaky start right here. Now, the Jaguars, probably the only hole they have is their slot corner. And Enunwa is a slot wide receiver, and he's also Darnold's favorite wide receiver. The Jets will probably have to throw the ball in the second half. They'll probably be down. Maybe it's a close scoring game, but Darnold's going to definitely have to throw the ball, and he's going to heavily target Enunwa. I don't see any other way that this is going to pan out. 4,300, super cheap. He's going to find that soft spot with the Jaguars. He's going to be matched up against the slot corner. He'll be able to do some things. Antonio Callaway. I like this guy as a high upside player. So he's going to get about 2 plays where he's going to get past that defense. And there's no better guy to find him than Baker Mayfield. At least not on that team. At least compared to Tyrod Taylor. When I say there's no better Browns quarterback to get it to him other than Baker Mayfield. Because we know Tyrod Taylor may not be able to. Callaway is a fast wide receiver. It's going to be, with the Raiders, they're going to either try to focus on stopping Jarvis or focus on stopping Callaway. It's going to be really tough. And then you have Hyde. So that play action, boom, deep pass to Callaway, that's going to be there on 1 or 2 plays. And I think Baker Mayfield's the man to hit him. Definitely a risk. It's kind of all or nothing with Callaway. But, man, for 4,300, he's not that like he's not like that Jarvis Landry receiver. He's not really that safe, but he's going to get a lot of targets, and he's got that upside, man. He's got that deep play threat. Mohamed Sanu, nothing more than a cheap GPP play. Nobody's going to pick this guy. Everyone's on Calvin Ridley. No one's going to pick Sanu. He might sneak by and do some things this week in a high-scoring game against the Bengals. I think the Bengals, they might focus on stopping Julio. They might focus on stopping Ridley. Maybe even focus on stopping Coleman again. As Coleman doesn't do anything. So Sanu, sneaky start, 3,600, super cheap and super contrarian. Sticking with that same game, AJ Green, probably not at 100%, but he's probably going to play. And Tyler Boyd's been doing well. But John Ross has been getting more and more targets. Yes, he's not that full package receiver. He's not quite there yet. But all it takes with this guy is 1 play. So kind of like Callaway, 3,300. This is a super cheap option. The upside is there, but there's absolutely no safety. This is the least safest option out there, but also this ends the wide receiver. This is also the cheapest wide receiver option too. So as you can see, he hasn't been doing that well. He's been inconsistent, but the targets keep getting more and more. And like I said, AJ Green probably not going to be at 100% for week 4. Let's go on to the position that's so tough to predict. There's a lot of good guys. Of course, you got Gronk, a little too expensive for my taste though, and he's got that questionable. All Patriots have a questionable tag. Jimmy Graham, who's good. Ertz is amazing. He's probably my favorite tight end this week, Ertz. But the price isn't my favorite though. I don't like the price. Who else? Jimmy Graham, a little bit risky. I like him though. Jared Cook has a great matchup. I think he'll do well. But let's keep going. Burden has a good matchup. But yeah, hopefully Trubisky can play. I mean, his quarterback's not playing well, though. Eric Ebron, yet again, probably the safest tight end. And as far as value goes, you got to take the salary into consideration because you don't want to spend up a lot on a safe tight end. You usually don't want to spend up if you're being safe at all at the tight end position. So 3,600, price is fairly cheap. Jack Doyle is out yet again. This guy's going to get his targets. Now, probably my favorite tight end this week, guys, is David Njoku. So whether the Raiders are trying to stop Hyde or they're trying to stop Jarvis, who's their best receiver, or maybe they're trying to take away the deep threat of Callaway and not get beat deep. Because they know if they do get beat twice by that guy, the game's pretty much over. That's 2 touchdowns. And the Raiders haven't been scoring a ton of touchdowns. So David Njoku, he's really a guy, it's tough to double cover a tight end. Like, it doesn't make any sense to double cover Njoku. The only way I see the Raiders doing something like this or focusing on shutting him down is if he explodes in the first half. And that'll be good enough for us. If he does great in the first half and doesn't do anything in the second, that's good enough. Because with tight ends, you don't know what's going on. With David Njoku, he won't be heavily owned. He's super cheap. He'll be targeted. The Raiders won't stop him. I already know that, at least not in the first half. So Njoku, man, this is my favorite tight end this week. Only 3,200. Risky? Yes. Price? Check, though. Price is good. The price is good. The risk is definitely there. Hooper, I just have this gut feeling about Hooper this week. I don't like him, but I think he has a good matchup. I think it's going to be a shootout. I like Hooper. I think I can see him getting 2 touchdowns. It's sneaky, though. This is a sneaky start. All risk, no reward. So be aware. Like, if I had 10 lineups, guys, I would have had Hooper in just 1. So it's all, I'm going with my gut here. No logic. Well, there's some logic behind it. The matchup is good. It's a high-scoring game. Maybe they focus on shutting down Julio. I don't know, though. I don't know. Maybe they shadow Julio with WJ3, the Bengals. They might put their best corner on Julio and leave him on an island. And that probably won't be good. I think Julio would go off. But if they double cover Julio, then anybody else can score on the Falcons. Really, they can. They have a lot of weapons. They have a great O-line. They have a good offense. And Matt Ryan, other than that first game of week 1, he's been really good. He's been on fire. Oh, do we have to mention this guy? Rhett Ellison. Evan Ingram is out. So if you really want to do something wild and crazy, guys, 2,700. Basically minimum priced is Rhett Ellison. I'll have him in probably none of my lineups. But I want to give you guys cheap options. For defenses, my favorite defense is the Jaguars D. And people have told me, haven't you learned your lesson last week? You picked the Vikings D in 90% of your lineups and got burned. No, I don't learn my lesson. I go right back to it because I'm very confident. People that switch every week, they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to spend up on this one now because I got burned. Oh, I'm scared this week because of what happened last week. That's how you always lose in DFS. I'm not saying that I have to pick the Chargers D. I was way more confident in the Vikings D last week, but still I'm very confident in the Jaguars D, and I'm not going to shy away from them. So they're priced 4,100. They're going against the Jets, who don't put up a ton of touchdowns. Darnold is not that great of a quarterback. Yeah, they probably got their franchise quarterback of the future, but this is the present, and in the present time, Jaguars D is on fire. So I like them. They're worth the price. Then we have the Chargers D going against my Niners. Niners won't do much. This is more of a risky pick, actually, guys, because the Niners can score. Like, the Chargers are going to win, but the Niners could score. Like, without Joey Bosa, this defense is just not that good. It's not. Facts are facts. A little pricey. Packers going against the Bills. That's pretty risky, pretty expensive. Eagles Titans could be a low-scoring game. What else we got? The Browns, I'm a huge fan of their defense. They're going against the Raiders, priced at 2,900. This is the most riskiest defense, the Texans. Now, I just got word that both offensive tackles for the Colts are out, and that's not good for them. So I see them getting a few points, whether it be sacks or turnovers. But other than that, man, I can see Andrew Luck putting up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, making a comeback. Maybe the Colts win, maybe they lose, but still, I just don't have faith that the Texans can stop the scoring. But they can still find ways to put up fantasy points, though. Like I said, whether it be sacks, turnovers, capitalizing on mistakes, they can definitely do that. Then we have the Bears. They'll I don't care who they're playing. Yeah, they're playing the Bucks, but they'll find ways to get points. They have Khalil Mack, by the way. 2,600, that's very cheap, guys. That's so cheap. That's so cheap. Titans, 2,300. This week, they don't have a great matchup, but I wanted to give you the cheap price defense at only 2,300. Like I said, this could be a low-scoring game. Ajayi's back, so that's not good for the Titans D. But Alshon Jeffrey, I think he'll be out. I don't know if it's 100%, so he's definitely questionable. But if he doesn't play, Titans would be a little bit more valuable, the Titans defense, that is. And on Crypto Fantasy Sports, you do have kickers. So here are my favorite kickers this week. We have Tucker. That's probably my favorite kicker. Stephen Gostkowski. Caleb Sturgis going against the Niners. That's the Chargers kicker. The Packers kicker, Crosby. I love him going against the Bills. And, of course, we have Will Lutz of the Saints and Matt Bryant of the Atlanta Falcons. Congrats to Race X. You are the winner of last week's contest, man. Congratulations. So you can go to NFL Shop and pick any jersey, really any item on here, $100 or less. Let me know which one you want, and congratulations. Make sure you guys follow the link below, enter in any NFL contest this week, and comment below your username. I'll be picking 5 winners to win this week's giveaway. And guys, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So hit the couch icon. Oops, it's someplace over here. Hit the couch icon. We also have a second channel, so subscribe to that one as well, Fantasy Couch Podcast. A lot of people don't know about that. Like this video if you enjoyed it, dislike if you didn't, and I'll see you guys on the next video / live stream.